Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach. I have my Rush shirt on today because I'm recording this on September 12th, which would have been Neil Peart's 68th birthday today. I mean, people talk about how 2020 sucks, and there are a lot of reasons why 2020 has been a very difficult year. This year started out with, for me and for many Rush fans, being very saddened by the news that Neil had passed away from brain cancer. So in honor of his birthday today, I'm wearing a shirt. I'm actually going to have my picture taken, and also I want to play the drums, one song of his, and have my wife take some pictures of that as well, because people want to post pictures of us wearing his shirts. Apparently his brother Danny asked for people to do that today, so I will be doing that later on. But as you can see, I've got some notes here, some things I'm working on with rocks. I'm glad that I actually, oh yeah, that reminds me, I had to put that on here as well. Can be seen by mock assembly. We'll get to that later. I've done a fair amount of work off camera, and I'm glad that I did it this way, because the previous episode I think was kind of lame, if I remember what I did there. It was a lot of just thinking and thinking and thinking, and it really didn't go where I wanted it to go. So the point of why I'm bringing this up is because my intention is that sometimes I'll just do stuff off camera, because it's a lot of just thinking work, and I need to sit there and think about where I'm kind of going down on a path, and it may take some struggle, and that's just not as interesting. So I ended up doing something here to come up with all the mockable methods. And you know, it took a while to get to this point, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if I've done it all. I've added some tests, but I'm not sure if I'm handling all the cases correctly. It gets very convoluted when you're doing both, either interfaces or classes. Classes actually tend to be a little bit easier, but the thing I had to realize is you need to go up to the object, find all the methods that you could, and as you work your way down, you may pick ones off of the list because those have been implemented and or sealed, and so you don't need them anymore. So I will be adding more tests, here to make sure that I've covered all the cases that I think I need to. But I think for now, I have enough where I can handle pretty much the majority of cases that people are going to do, and then we'll pick off the exceptions and make sure that we got some, that I didn't necessarily think of right away. I did post something out there yesterday asking if people knew of a way to get like all the virtual members that could be overridden. There are some things that are in .NET, because if you look in Visual Studio, there are some IntelliSense things that like implement interface or do this or whatever. And the problem is that they're all internal, at least from what I found. And so it starts becoming, well, do I copy and paste this? What happens if changes are done? Maybe at some point I'll figure out how to do that. And I would like to use something that's more official, because this isn't easy. The implementation that I landed on took a fair amount of time to get to, and I am sure I am not doing it right in some cases, that I am almost 100% positive on. But we're going to do with what we have right now, which I think is going to be, again, most of what I run into. So in any event, I had a list here of things. Constructor tests. I did add in here. Here? Yeah. Get constructors. Okay. And as I figured out, with constructors, you really have to care about a class, and you can just look at the class itself and determine what constructors are available. Because if you did something like have a base class that had a constructor that took arguments, then in the class that's inheriting from it, and maybe that's the one that you're given to mock, you have to put a constructor on it such that the base constructor is called. So you can't just have define nothing. You have to somehow put a constructor on to handle that. So I'll just be able to look at the type given. And if you're giving me an interface, it doesn't matter. I don't look at those anyway, because interfaces can't have constructors. So we would just make a no argument constructor anyway in that case. Okay. So I think here I need to say, yeah, I've already done that, constructors to immutable. I am guessing that this is probably going to break a fair amount of tests that I already have in place with mock information. Let's just run this to see what is the broken. Let's say 3. I'm going to guess 3. They all, no. No. That can't be right. There's, how did that work? Because constructors to, oh, I thought I had assigned it, but I hadn't. I'm assigning it to this. And so what we need to do is say is this get this type get constructors. I could say here mockable constructors, but they're not really mockable. But I think I'm going to change the name here because they're not really mockable, but I need to have them in there. And I think that if I just say get constructors, that gets confusing. Like I'm just getting the constructors, which I technically am, but this is more specific anyway. Okay, now if I come back to this and I say run all the tests, now I'll say like at least 3 fail, because that would make more sense. 5, okay. Yeah, so in this case, we're going to say is equal to 1. And the constructor that we should have, so all these are looking at like the interfaces, and whether I get the constructors or not is not important. I want to have yeah, that's going to be 1 because that's a class. This is going to be 1 because that's a class. That will be 0 because these are all interfaces and we don't care about those. And there, okay. So this is where I'm also debating whether I go on every test, do I always verify that all the things that should be there are there? And I'm kind of telling myself that there should. Like in this case here, you notice that I'm always testing. Like here, I should be testing that we get a method here called foo. So let's call this const string target method name, which is equal to foo. And then we're going to put that right here because what have I been saying above here? Yeah, just foo method. Doesn't matter. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. There we go. I'm going to call this foo method. And the name is that. And it should not require an override. And it should not require explicit implementation. Okay. That should still be good. We don't get any constructors because they're interfaces. And we do. Okay. So what I'm going to do up here is let's run all these tests so I get rid of all the red. And then we'll start picking off the constructors like we should. Okay. So we're going to break that out. And because I am a picky boy, get hash code equals in toString. Okay, we're going to separate that out like we should. We're going to say, whoops, constructor method, because that's what it is. Methods, constructors, single. Well, we know there's only one. We don't even need to do this. Okay, so we're going to say constructors of, what did I just, I broke something badly. Oh, because, wow, just that one thing there. Holy cow, that just really, is equal to 0. Because we should have no And we don't need overrides or anything like that. So that one's pretty cheap. And then same thing here. I'm going to separate that out. We're going to separate methods out because we should be testing this as well. And I could make this a common test to say, hey, if you're going to get the 3, then you can do that as well. But that's fine. We're going to stick with this for now. In this case, we don't because, and in interfaces, we don't. Constructors, we wouldn't. Constructor. Okay. Well, what did I have here? This is a, yep. Okay, so we're going to make a test here. This. And constructor with parameters. Okay. So we're going to have here a public target type name. We're going to say string A int B, something simple. We really don't care what it does. Okay. And so we should have here, we should still have one constructor. Okay. But this one is going to have 2. And we do. Okay, so, and I think at this point, if I say run tests for this one, we should have all of them passing. And you don't show in that case that they all run, which is kind of annoying. And it's funny too, because it says there's 14 tests here. Why wouldn't... Oh, I'm doing it on the wrong one. There we go. Of course it's not going to run any tests because there's no tests in there. And they all pass. Okay, so let's do this. 121 added tests for constructors. Middle. Okay, there is on the list here, can be seen by mock assembly, because one of the things that I did think I figured out here is in the rock generator is, okay, that's the type to mock, but we're in this invocation to say rock.create of some generic type has to be called from within some type of type declaration. It just does. So where is that? And what is its symbol? And then from this candidate symbol, we'll be able to say containing assembly. Okay, so the reason I did that, even though this isn't being used anywhere, is because I'm setting this up that I'm going to pass it into generate mapping. Okay, and in all honesty, I don't even know if I needed to do it there, because where it's needed to be done is getting all of the mock information. Okay, and that's also something I need to include here. I do need, I think the thing I'm saying is I do need to pass this in to generate mapping. So let's actually do this. Let's drive it down. Why not? I'm getting antsy to actually start generating code, but I need all this. I need to have properties and I need to have constructors, and I also need to make sure that I'm doing this in a way such that their visibility is correct. Okay, so we're going to say this, type to mock, okay, and we're going to say type to mock, and then we're going to say I type symbol, nope, I type symbol containing candidate symbol. Okay, and then in mock information, we're also going to say I type symbol containing candidate symbol. Yeah, I'll have to change my test now because that's going to break everything. That's okay. This dot containing candidate symbol is equal to that. And we do that, and you're like, what is this? Well, you know what? There's a read-only property that you cannot infer. I wish it did that. I wish it was able to infer that, because that just feels wrong. Okay, so we're going to say var information is equal to new mock information, passing in the type to mock and the containing candidate symbol. Okay. Oh, I need the model, right? Type containing, I need the model and the compilation. Okay. Semantic model, compilation, model, compilation. Okay, and then down here, I'm not passing those in yet, but that's okay, because that's not hard. We have the model and we have the compilation. Okay, so we got all that in place now. We can say if, well, I want to say diagnostics. The diagnostics really should come from the information, because this isn't going to do anything, so this can go away. We can say if information.diagnostics.any, where any of them severity are equal to severity.error. If not any of them, because then we can do all this. Put that up there. Else, we're going to return information.diagnostics. What is the problem here? That is an immutable list. Guess what? That's becoming an immutable array, because it really should be. And then here, we're still going to do information.diagnostics. Null. Okay. All right, that took care of that, which is good. We probably broke some stuff. Yeah. So down here, we need to get the, so that's the target type name of that. Okay. So in this case, what we need to say is type symbol contain, yes. I think I'm jumping the gun slightly here. I don't need the containing symbol here. What I do need is the, yeah, we can get rid of that now. What I do need is the actual, I should be clear here. Type to mock is that. And this should also be type to mock. And the reason why is because the type to mock is what's being passed in the generic parameter for rock.create. The containing candidate symbol is really not what we want. What we want is where the assembly is that did the invocation of this. Okay, so if I say this dot type to mock containing assembly, what is that? That's an iAssembly. So what I really need here is an iAssembly symbol containing assembly. So we're going to say this is now containing assembly. Okay, and yes, that does not match because this needs to containing assembly symbol. And you also need to change your type because you are no longer that, you are an iAssembly symbol info. And that also means that in Rock Generator, this needs to change to assembly symbol. This needs to change to assembly symbol, and yeah, this is not the candidate symbol. We need the containing assembly symbol, which will be all of this containing assembly. There. And then now it's saying that's not needed. Okay, fine, because yeah, we don't need it anymore. And then here in the mock information, what we want here is the containing assembly, because the way we're testing this is that the the type that we're trying to glean all the information from is also within the same assembly. So the way that we're going to have to be able to test can be seen by mock assembly is, does the thing that we're trying to mock exist within a different assembly? And that I don't have an answer for right now. So I don't really know off the top of my head how we're going to do that. But do we at least build now? Yes, we do. Okay. So in type symbol extensions, what we're doing here is can be seen by mock assembly. So we're looking at the type to mock. We're getting all the symbols. But we need to also pass in here. What I'm eventually going to have to pass in is what is the containing assembly from the invocation. It's not the containing assembly of the type that we're mocking. It's the because that could be within our assembly. That can have been defined in a different assembly. So we, that's, I think, this sounds like containing invocate. How do I want this to be clear but not verbose? Did that even make any sense? I want this to say it's the containing assembly symbol for the invocation, because I want that to be clear that this is the assembly that contains where the invocation happened. Containing assembly of invocation, for invocation, invocation containing assembly symbol. I'm going to go with this for now. Of invocation. And again, I get that that sounds like we're getting a little, a little too wordy, but I'm okay with this. So if I go here and I go here, contain assembly of invocation, it's clear where I'm getting this from. And this reminds me of if I ever look back at especially my master's thesis code or other code that you sometimes see in academia and other things, that naming of stuff is very, very bad. And as you just saw, sometimes it's a little, am I getting too verbose? Am I not saying it clearly enough? If what I'm saying, does it actually make sense? And there's always like endless debates you can have on, is this worded right? But naming things is hard because you want to be clear in what you're naming. But if you start having these 100-character descriptions of things, it starts to feel very cumbersome in code and overwrought. So, there's some point in between that it becomes, I think that's a sweet spot. But I wanted to be clearer to say, well, what is the containing symbol of what? Of the invocation. So when I look back on this later, that will be a tip to me to go, oh yeah, that's right. That's what I should have done. Okay. So all that said is, I think I want to change this to can be seen by containing assembly. Okay. So in other words, when I'm looking at all the mockable methods on the type I'm trying to mock, is that actually seen by the assembly that's containing the invocation? And that's what we need. Okay. So we're going to prep this by saying over here, this, okay, we're going to come back here and we're going to say we need that, okay, because we need to pass that into containing assembly. I like it that I can still do that. I find that so cool. I don't know why, but I do. And again, we got to finish this correctly. Okay. But then here, I'm going to be explicit and do it that way. And we're going to pull that down here so we have some symmetry. Okay. And yeah, that's good. Though I think I want to push this over one. That's fine. Okay. So you never use that. That's fine. We're going to say containing assembly of invocation symbol. And then we have some places here also where we're not doing it. This is all just to set us up for when we actually figure out how to do this, which I think is not going to be that big of a deal. Famous last words, right? Right. Okay. So that. And you're right, as you go up the trees, you don't use this. You know what? Fine. We're going to say containing not equal to null. Is not null. Ha ha ha. Then you go away. Did you all build? Nope. Give mockable constructors, but we should have this there, and now we can pass this in as well. Nope, not there. Nope, not there. There. And now that's good. So if we rebuild again, all is good. We come up to this and we say tests. What in the... What did I just press? Okay, if I say that and then I say run tests. Yeah, that's what I wanted. We should still see 14. And one failed. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Generate happy path. Well, what failed? Really? Oh! Because I wired that up now. Very good, Jason. You get a... Because I no longer have a method to mock, so it thinks it's not mockable. And boom, there we go. And boom goes a dynamite. So, where are we kind of landing? We sort of did constructor tests, I think, are good enough right now. We are working on can be seen by mock assembly. And I want to finish that out, and then we'll start generation. So I'm going to record one more episode and maybe another one today, but I've got a whole bunch of backlogs that I need to actually start editing, so I probably will do that as well today. And some other stuff because, you know, family. So, anyway, I think I'm done for now. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.